Well, I went through and I did that test on that transfer switch or isolation switch. Getting these mixed up here now. And I got two different readings. And so that switch should be working. So like I said, I'm isolated from the neutral up there. And like I say, the way that I can't remember what the exact number is, whether it's 9 volts, 12 volts. Like I get these different numbers in my head, but somewhere around there, 9 to 12 volts, 13 maybe. If it detects a surge that much, then that switch closes and puts it back onto neutral. But other than that, everything else is going to ground. And like I say, I got two different numbers. I mean, I got significant different readings on that. But I've also discovered something else I found kind of strange as I was walking around here. But I'm going to go back and check these now afterward, because like I said, I've checked them and I went through all these panels. I went through the transfer switch, I went through this 200 amp panel, the 100 amp panel in that barn, and the 200 amp panel down in the new barn. And I was able to pretty much check all these connections except for where the main line comes in out of the meter. It comes in this box and it connects to the lugs up here. And like I say, what I'm doing here now is just rough checking. Like I said, I need to get an electrician in here, talk to one here yet. But I throw this switch into the off and that kills the electric to the whole property here. So I can go check anything, even the main lugs in these panels, except for the two main ones in this panel, because they're hot and I don't know, I'm not monkeying with that. But like I say, in all these panels I did find loose connections. Some loose, fairly loose. And like I say, this one in here, there's two lugs, but if they fed from the generator side, so it shouldn't have made a difference. But the one screw I took up maybe a half a turn. In this panel, like I say, all of them there was a neutral or ground wire somewhere that, you know, you could just budge them a little bit to where I went through all the breakers. There's one breaker in that barn down there. I mean, I took that thing up about 3 turns on that screw. But the thing is, that breaker was turned off to whatever it went to, so I don't know if that would cause a problem. But like I say, I was actually surprised how clean that panel was. I mean, I expected to see corrosion in that one. I figured to see a lot of cobwebs too, but that panel was actually fairly clean. I mean, I didn't see really anything wrong in there. But like I say, all 4 of these boxes and everything I went through, some of the main lugs, you know, I took up maybe 1/8 of a turn or something. But like I say, there was always, all of them had something loose in them, whether, say maybe accumulation of all of them, or whether even it was a problem. And I thought, well, once I got all that done, I'm going to go back and check the readings on these two again to see if there's any difference. But one thing I noticed here too is, okay, I'm just holding this meter in my hand. And there's the probes. What I did is I made a ground rod. I taped the black lead onto this bar, clamped it to it, so I can stick that in the ground and get a good ground. And there's the red lead. I'm not touching any of them. Like I said, I'm just holding, well, my finger is touching the ground down there, but like I said, they're not touching each other or nothing. And like I said, I'm standing here. I can't even see it through my camera. Okay, like right here, I'm getting like a 0.06. That's 0.06, less than a volt. And I just walk up the driveway here, and I'm getting a 0.1, 0.11, 0.12. It's going up a little bit. So reading there now. It's getting up to a 2. Thing is, I'm standing right underneath the main wires, and I can get up to 2 reading. I walk away, And it starts going down. And I suppose that's the same for all electric lines. I'm sure, like I say, they're creating an electromagnetic field probably, and you get these reads. Now, like I say, I'm fairly close to the pole on the back side of it. And say I'm on the opposite side of this pole now, and I'm back down to 0.0065. So I'm taking it. If I'm picking up readings over there with just a meter in my hand, that might be an indication there is a strong stray voltage coming across them lines. And like I say, now being isolated, it's going to ground instead of continuing back through these panels. So now, I'm gonna have to set this down for a second. So now I stuck that my ground rod, makeshift ground rod, in there. Oh, I'm tangled up in everything. And I come over here and touch onto the ground wire. I'm getting 0.4 volts off their ground wire. Might actually went down a little bit. Before here I was getting 0.6s and 0.7s. And like I say, I think it makes a little bit of a difference how much load is on the line at the time and stuff, so I don't know how much, just tightening up the screw shouldn't have made a difference on this side. So we got about 0.44. So now pull this up. And get over here onto the other side. And I'll have to put this down to stick that rod in. Okay, I found the ground rod on this side. Oh, come on. Touch that and I get 0.05 on this side. 0.03. Next to nothing. Right there, I'm touching right directly to the wire that comes off the pole. Yeah, I'm just touching the ground rod. So that's indicating I'm isolated. So like I say, now if there's still issues of stray voltage here, it still has to be coming, it's got to be something on the farm there, because like I said, this is pretty clear that this switch is working. Back over here and check this one more time. Now I'm getting a 0.5 reading. They say they're a little bit lower. Before I checked anything, like I say, it took me a while to go through all these panels and stuff, so like I say, it might be just a little bit different time of day, but I was getting like a 0.6 reading here and a 0.1 reading over there. But there's still 0.5 difference between them. So, and that's the problem with the stray voltage. If I did correct something, if I found the problem, I corrected it here with what I did, you're not going to know for a while, because this is not an instantaneous turnaround. I mean, you should start seeing an improvement fairly quickly, but to return back to what it should be, because one thing is, they say once cows drop on milk, they don't come back to where they normally were. But like I say, if I did correct something, I should start seeing, like I say, a little bit of increase. Here probably might take a week or so. But like I say, what I did was just a preliminary, just the stuff I can check. I'm gonna have to get a hold of the electrician here yet, and like I say, see if he'll just to come in here, clean up some of these terminals, and they say check them 2 outer lugs. Another thing I could check here, make sure this is the ground rod. Yeah, get a shovel and dig that up a little bit, and make sure that ground rod's not broke loose. I know the one down in the new barn is all right, because that one's above the concrete, comes up in the floor in there. The ground rod, there's no ground rod on that panel down there, because this is actually, that one's considered a sub panel. So there's 4 wires underground down to that panel. So that one's actually grounded back to this panel. There's no ground rod down there. So I'm just trying to figure out what other connections I would really need to go look at. I still got to go through motors here yet. That's one thing I haven't done yet. That would be the biggest chance of a voltage issue. And like I said, that might be a case, it might be a wire rubbed bare somewhere, just a loose connection in the motor. You know, they vibrate quite a bit as they're running. So that's what I gotta do here next. I don't know how soon I want to do that. Like I said, I want to give a couple days, see if any of this stuff made a difference, if I see an improvement, and then do the motors. Like I said, I don't want to do several things at one time, then you'll never really know what the problem was. So, but like I say, I'm confident enough, if there is still stray voltage here, that isolator switch is working, it's not coming from the utility, and I'll figure out things from there. And yeah, there's some conveyor belting, so let me know. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you later.